Greetings YouTube, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we look at another early access game. This time we have Broken Lines by Portaplay and Super Publishing. Broken Lines is a turn-based strategy game in the grand tradition of the XCOM series. It follows a squad of soldiers trapped between enemy lines on a very dangerous mission. They have to complete their mission and make some very difficult decisions on the way. Depending on those decisions, not all of your soldiers will make it out alive, and some of your actions will deeply test your sense of morality. Now, I love the idea of mixing turn-based strategy with a World War II setting and military tactics. It's a game that I've enjoyed so far. I haven't gotten very far in, but I know that the people who've been enjoying my turn-based strategy series Xenonauts are absolutely going to love this game. So we're going to have a look at Broken Lines today, and as always I'm going to let you know what my thoughts are. Let's have a bit of a look.
It is an unusually hazy night. The soldiers believe they are crossing over neutral territory. Their mission is classified, known only to commanders on another plane. The instruments break down first. Pointers spin wildly, alarms blaring, and then the engines stop. A single soul awakes, shocked and confused. He doesn't know where he is, or what his orders are. He runs to the crash site, terrified that he might be the only survivor.
The campaign of Broken Lines begins with us controlling Avery, a recruit who doesn't yet have his mission. Much like the rest of his squad, they're on a need-to-know basis, and unfortunately they were shot down before they could be given their orders. His only directive at the moment is to reunite with his squad and try and stay alive along the way. Now, this game has some interesting turn-based strategy mechanics. It feels like a bit of a streamlined, simplified version of XCOM. And while I do like the way that they've made this game a lot more accessible to newer players of the turn-based strategy genre, I'm not exactly a fan of the oversimplification, removing things like ammunition counters, the ability to loot enemies, and some of the abilities being unlimited use. I'm not really a fan of that, but I can understand the reason why. Neck Numerac Retractor. Now, I don't know about you guys, that doesn't sound German to me. Who's there? Drop the gun and take off your mask. Dot Crim and Trika. Fine, you asked for this, so I think we're going to plug in. Now, soldiers do automatically fire on enemies in their range. We do have a couple of abilities. We're going to try the suppressive fire ability. One that I tend to spam a bit more than I should. He was at a distinct advantage only having a pistol. So we're going to head over there. Now, as far as I can tell, there's not much in... Whoops. You can stop firing now, buddy. There isn't a system of looting enemies, of getting equipment, and I think that as a fan of games like Men of War, one of the interesting gameplay mechanics is the ability to use what's on the battlefield to your advantage. You know, taking over tanks, stealing enemy machine gun emplacements and turning them on the enemy, stealing enemy supplies, things like that. Unfortunately, those sort of mechanics don't come too much at play in this, but the developers' directive or the goal that they were trying to achieve was to make a game that's accessible for newer players. Wood, thank God, are you alright? I'm splendid, thanks for asking. Just need to get my intestines back in my stomach and I'll be good as new. This isn't the time to be funny, mate. You started it. Anyway, what happened? Why were we shot down over neutral territory? I have no bloody clue what's going on either. First things first, mate. Be a dear and revive me, would you? So much like the XCOM series, we can revive fallen squad mates. And it's a simple matter of approaching soldiers and getting them up off the ground. There we go. Now it takes a little bit of getting used to, but the way the game works is in a time-based system. There's a progress bar along the bottom here, and you can issue a number of commands within your squad, each of your soldiers individually performing actions. The only thing you don't do is control them shooting at enemies. You can use your special abilities and target specific enemies, like with the suppressive fire option I used. But it would be nice to have that direct control over the soldiers and get them to pick their targets so that they can take down enemies with massed fire. Again, I can understand the reason why they did this. They're looking for a game that's probably a bit more forgiving for new players in the genre. As someone who's played a lot of turn-based strategy games, or recently has started playing a lot of turn-based strategy games, I would have liked to see that extra functionality. Now, one of the things I do like though is the context menu and the controls. Everything is really easy to access here. Newer players aren't going to be fumbling around trying to work out, like for example, in XCOM, one of the things that I found to be a little bit annoying as a newer player was trying to work out hit percentages. You could walk up right next to an enemy with a 99% chance to hit and still miss. You won't find that here. Generally, it's all about positioning your soldiers. If you get them in a good position on the high ground behind cover, their chances to hit are going to be very high, and the enemy chance to hit is going to be very low. So a lot of the game is all about positioning and using your squad mates to try and flank the enemy. So it looks like these guys, they don't seem to like being in this cloud of smog, whatever it is, so let's get them out of that. I'm trying to take a measured, careful approach. I have finished the first mission, and I do know that there's going to be some enemies here soon. So let's move him here.
Yes.
And we'll pop our other guy here. So what happens is you choose the direction you want to go, and you can have each of your soldiers move individually, have them move as a team to get into a good position. Drum Patak. Now, I assume this was supposed to be in World War II, but this isn't a dialect that I can understand. Perhaps these guys aren't Germans. Well, I should say they aren't Nazis. Gunfire, what the hell? Run, we can't fight from here, we need to get to higher ground. So they've definitely got an advantage on us here. Our only hope is to try and get behind these rocks. So I'm going to head recruit Wood. I probably should have him move secondarily, but we're going to have him move to here. And when you move, you have two choices. You can stand to return fire or kneel to get some better cover, and I think that's probably a better option here. They have the drop on us, and I don't think that firing back is going to be a good option. Let's see if that works. There we go. So he's not able to get a hit on us. And while he's focusing on my other character, we're going to try and move our second soldier behind the next piece of cover. And we'll crouch him as well. So hopefully most of the fire should be wasted. There we go. Yep. Nicely done. Now I feel that he's going to cop a couple of rounds, but we really don't. I wonder if I can use suppressive fire on these guys. Yeah, there we go. So I can suppress them with Avery, and then that will allow Wood to move to safety. Let's get him behind here. And we'll duck him down. Go. Hey, there we go, that's working. Very nice. So there was a tip there that is very interesting. Stress is a mechanic in the game as well. And if you're able to stress an enemy out over time, if you think of it in terms of XCOM, successive hits and kills against enemy combatants would allow you to get people to panic. In this game, it's more of getting successive hits on enemies, not killing them, but using suppressive fire and explosives to break their cover and scare them. So it's an interesting mechanic, and the proper use of a machine gunner can actually, much like XCOM, completely change the flow of the game. Now we've gotten past that machine gun nest. I'm going to move my men up. I'm going to try and be careful here because I think we've got another battle upcoming.
Yes.
So Avery's got that handy machine gun. Wood's only got a pump action shotgun, and it's not actually as useful as you might think. Unfortunately, I haven't found many instances where the shotgun is useful. Sherman, is that you? Get behind cover. There's a freak in a mask shooting at me from the path up ahead. Just the one. Why haven't you downed him yet? Well, he's got the terrain in his favour, but now you're here, we should have the upper hand. Your bravery is inspiring, mate. You know I'm just the tech guy they chucked a rifle at back in camp. I didn't even volunteer for this op. Hey, don't pick on us tech guys. We have our uses too. Enough chit-chat. Let's get back at the bastards already. Alright, so we now have a rifleman. So that's going to be very useful because riflemen have obviously a very handy set of abilities that can turn the battle in our favour. So I'm going to get him to head down here. Obviously, it's especially important to place your riflemen in areas where they can get hits in on enemies. As you can see, we've got an enemy. I'm just going to hope these guys aren't stupid enough to go and open fire. Good, excellent. So Avery, we're going to get him to head over to here. I have to wait for the timer to time out. And as you can see, if you move a soldier too far, they won't be able to take a second action. So much like XCOM, you've got your 2 action points, as long as you don't move your men too far. So if I move Avery here, he should be able to use suppressive fire on this guy. So I'm going to move him here, and I'm going to have him return fire and use some suppressive fire as well.
Aye.
I'm going to get my shotgunner up. Now I don't know if he's going to be close enough to get a hit in, but I'll try. I have the ability to knock an enemy down, but it appears he's too far. So I can't really do anything with him at the moment, so we're going to leave him. And my rifleman, I think he would be best used here. He's got a clear line of sight, and we have a special ability called aim. So let's use that. And see if we can pop this guy in the dome. We've got a 70% chance to hit, that's not too bad. Oh, he's seen us.
Take that.
So the suppressive fire did manage to get a hit. I'm going to go for another shot.
Yes.
And he doesn't have a shot. I'm going to hit him with another barrage of machine gun fire. I've already got we've already got one queued up. Let's see how this plays out. Very nice. So there was a nice 1-2 count. We got one soldier to suppress him, prevent him from moving, and the second soldier finished him off with a rifle round to the dome. So we've done pretty well. We haven't taken any hits. Our soldiers are in pretty good shape. As long as we don't get overconfident, we should be fine. Move these guys up to the next set of bags here, and make sure our rifleman is ready as well. So we're making nice progress. Our goal, of course, is to flank the soldiers on the hill, take them out, and take over the camp. So, looking at here, we don't have a lot of spots for cover. I'm going to move up my rifleman. Actually, I'm going to pop him here. So riflemen, obviously, you want to try and keep them out of trouble, not too close to the front lines, but also at a really good spot. The choke points are fantastic. Anywhere they can get a shot off and whittle the enemies down from afar. I think that ought to do it. And turtling in this game is something you definitely want to do. So we've got some sandbags, natural choice. We're going to move up Avery on the left. Actually, we'll move him on the right because he's the closest. And we're going to have him shoot, return fire on anything that we find.
Yes.
Wood's going to move up. Hopefully an enemy's close enough to be able to use a shotgun on. And Sherman here far on the left, and hopefully he can get a kill in again.
Get down.
Oh, we've got another soldier. Again, combat in this game it's very fluid. It's a lot more simplistic than other turn-based strategy games, because that's the one thing that turned me off of strategy games to start with. It was very complex and it wasn't very welcoming for someone new to the genre.
Go to hell.
So he's bleeding. We've managed to get a shot in. He's on half health. I reckon if we concentrate fire, we can take him out. So I think he might... Yeah, he's too far away for a shotgun blast. So we'll line up a rifle round. Well, he's nearly dead. One more round. Not good. Now, because he's nearly dead, I don't think it would be a good idea to charge him, because he could potentially do a lot of damage.
Yes.
I do have a hand grenade, but I think it would be a waste against a soldier that's nearly dead. Let's see how that plays out. We'll keep firing. We only really have to spit on him. He's going to die. So, oh, rifle round to the dome. That was an aimed shot from our friend Sherman. For someone who doesn't seem to like battle, he's surprisingly good at it.
Yes.
So let's move up through the camp. We may be able to find some additional recruits. Unfortunately, we can't loot these supply containers. I was a bit disappointed at that.
Aye, aye.
As someone who's played a lot of the Men of War series, one of the addictive parts of the game was using the battlefield, using everything you can find. Whoops. Yeah, so I don't seem to be able to loot anything in the game. I thought I'd try and see if anything had changed. So let's wait this one out. I believe we've got the enemy squad around the corner. So I'm going to move my men up very carefully. Now your soldiers can die very quickly in this game. A machine gun can, not as fast as in XCOM, where a single hit can kill any squad member. At least the battlefield is somewhat even. We don't have enemies shooting at us with plasma guns and laser beam weapons and all sorts of nasty weapons we don't have access to. So at least in this game, it feels a little bit even. The odds seem even.
Oi.
Now, it should be said there are a number of different difficulty settings to this game, so if you find that you're breezing through, and I think playing on the default difficulty, which I am, probably wasn't a good idea for me. I probably should have jacked it up a little bit higher. It feels, at least for me, that the game's a little bit too easy. So I'm going to spread my men out. We're going to have Sherman go across to the far rocks and wait. And we're going to move Avery into position here to use his suppressive fire. And finally, we may actually be able to get Wood to use his trusty shotgun. We'll be close enough. Let's see how it all plays out. Okay, contact made. I wish that these guys wouldn't attack automatically. Oh, one's down. Now we managed to destroy the cover, or at least part of it. I'm going to try and use some massed fire on him, some suppressive fire. And we're also going to try and see if Sherman can work his magic with a rifle round to the head. He's actually our MVP at the moment. That rifle of his doing some work. So we managed to make our way through, and we didn't even need any grenades. We were lucky to survive all that. I don't feel lucky, I feel sick. What I wouldn't give to be home again. Should be easy to manage, you just have to climb past massive mountains in the distance and avoid being gunned down by all the masked ginks along the way. What is this place anyway? Why are we here? That's a question for the lieutenants, assuming their plane's not a flaming wreckage like ours is. I spotted a few guys jumping out of it with parachutes. We should look for them tomorrow morning. And I believe with that we have the end of Mission 1 of Broken Lines. Now, Mission 2 I have gotten through as well. I'm about 3 or 4 missions into the game, and I've really been enjoying this so far. I wanted to share it with you guys, because I know a lot of you do share my interest and my taste in games, especially my good friend Russell Graham, who's really into these sort of games. So, if you do enjoy turn-based strategy games, if you're a fan of XCOM like me, then go and pick this one up. It's a really good turn-based strategy game for newer players. So if you're someone who has been turned off turn-based strategy games because of the complexity, this game may be perfect for you to dip your toe in the turn-based strategy genre. If you're someone who is a little bit more experienced in these games like me, never fear, there are 4 different difficulties for the game, and I believe there's an Iron Man mode as well. So if you want the challenge, it's also there. I think I'm going to jack the difficulty up. I'm finding it a little bit of a breeze, but the game does have that for other players. I like the fact that you can jack the difficulty up. I hope that they can add additional mechanics into the game, ammo management, the ability to loot items. I know that there is a soldier upgrade tree, and you can add additional items and abilities, but I think that a little extra mechanics into the game would make it feel a little bit more immersive, at least for me. But definitely one that I recommend you try if you like your turn-based strategy. So that was it from me. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Are you going to try Broken Lines? If you have got it, what do you think so far? Let me know in the comments, and hopefully you'll join me next time when we look at another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate out.